suffering. If abortion is about reducing suffering, whose suffering are we talking about? We should be providing genuine help for people who are suffering. If it's the pregnant woman whose suffering we're reducing by killing someone else, we wouldn't do that in any other scenario.
You know what's really wild, though? How anti-healthcare influencers, well, first of all, that anti-healthcare influencers is a phrase that exists in 2026, but also that they keep pretending abortion is about killing someone. Seriously, it's not edgy or deep. Dark Serena Joy here is just simply logically impaired. Hi, everyone. It's Colleen, your friendly neighborhood abortion influencer. So, first step, let's stop letting them frame abortion care as homicide. It is simply ending a pregnancy. That's it. Fallacy Felicia here reframes abortion as homicide so she can argue against homicide. And who would argue for homicide? Well, except when Team Family Values is cutting healthcare and food benefits, maybe, or sending your kids to die in preventable wars, or more specifically, passing laws that cause women in emergency rooms to bleed out and die because they can't get abortion care.
A single mom with a 2-year-old, 4-year-old, and 6-year-old might be genuinely struggling. And we absolutely shouldn't dismiss that. Like, we've got to help her. We would also never suggest killing her 2-year-old to help reduce her suffering.
So this is the one that really kills me, no pun intended, because they rely on their audience being so dumb that they can't understand the difference between an autonomous toddler and an embryo or fetus that is inside a uterus. A 2-year-old isn't using his mother's organs. A 2-year-old isn't attached to her bloodstream. This analogy only works when forced birthers completely erase a pregnant woman's humanity and right to life. These people try to compare ending bodily occupation to stabbing a toddler. I mean, it's illogical on its face, but then it's their usual violent fantasies, right? Ew, what is wrong with these people?
We don't kill an innocent person to reduce another person's suffering.
In U.S. law, no person has the right to use someone else's body without consent, whether they are dubbed innocent or not. Let's be real about that word doing a lot of work for misogyny, am I right? So yes, not even a child has that right, not even if they will die. That's why we don't force organ donation. But suddenly, in pregnancy, these creeps want an exception? Why? Oh, because they absolutely don't give a flying fuck about your fundamental right to life, to your privacy and your liberty rights. Yeah, that's the actual position here. Never forget this.
And if it's the fetus we're talking about, essentially using abortion to eliminate the fetus's suffering, that precedent makes me wildly uncomfortable. It would be incredibly privileged of me to look at someone else and decide for them that their life isn't worth living.
Huh. Privilege. And forcing a woman or young girl to carry a pregnancy that could kill them is what exactly? Humility? Compassion? Or, the privilege of deciding that her life is an acceptable casualty? Yeah, these hypocrite pieces of shit are not opposed to deciding whose life is expendable. They just have the privilege of deciding it won't be the embryos or fetuses. So look, abortion is not about declaring someone's life unworthy. It is just declining to continue pregnancy. Turkey Patty here just turns a refusal of bodily use into a value judgment about existence. But if I refuse to donate a kidney to you, a total stranger, I'm not saying your life isn't worth living. I'm just saying that my body isn't public property. We should actually give pregnant patients the same respect.
Take someone else's life without their consent because I think from my place of privilege that their potential future suffering just isn't worth it for them, so they'd be better off dead. The solution to suffering isn't to kill people.
Huh, that's weird. The last time I checked, no one was proposing a national kill people to reduce suffering policy. This framing is so overdramatic and batshit, it borders on parody. Abortion bans, however, do increase suffering, and we have the solid data to prove that. Women denied abortions are more likely to fall into poverty, stay with abusive partners, experience serious medical complications. And let's just stick with that suffering, shall we? Forced continuation of pregnancy and medical emergencies as pregnant bodies start deteriorating. These women just waiting to see if they can beat the clock or it will just run out on them, as it did for Amber Thurman, Candy Miller, Jocelyn Barnica, Tiara Walker, just to name a few. Let's talk about hemorrhaging patients turned away from the ER, bleeding out in bathrooms and parking lots in their cars. Or how about raped minors in ICE concentration camps right now, forced to give birth because they're not allowed to travel to a blue state to get an abortion anymore? Or how about all the women in post-Roe America who have been tortured with being forced to carry their non-viable or dead fetuses to term? These were pregnancies they wanted. Imagine that kind of suffering. Notice how this suffering never comes out of these people's mouths, though. Gosh, they wouldn't want their dumb followers to have compassion for women, after all.
The solution to suffering isn't to kill people, but to actually help them.
Her whole spiel is a false dichotomy. Either we help people or we kill people. Nuh-uh. There are other choices. Paid family leave, better healthcare access, efforts to reduce maternal mortality, especially in Black and Brown communities where it is running rampant right now, disability support, and yes, abortion rights. These are not mutually exclusive, but forced birth misogynists routinely oppose the social programs that would reduce the suffering during and after birth.
So let's get better at actually helping them.
also hypocrisy Hannah here saying, let's help them instead. Oh, she sounds so compassionate, doesn't she? Yeah, right up until we look at their voting record, right?